like I said, thank you for getting all dressed up for this pod. But
You're welcome.
so when you're working with like the Chainsmokers and doing the song, what was, I gotta know, what was that final moment when like the song was done and you three just sat there and just listened to it? Like,
We listened to it like 5 million times.
oh my god,
We looked at each other and we're like, this is smash.
You never know what someone's going through in their day to day.
Made me reevaluate myself. He was sick. That's all.
Block this out. You lose yourself, but then you become the person you didn't want to become.
But seriously though, it is completely in your hands.
Are any of you guys from Conshohocken? Are you from Conshohocken?
I'm from Northeast Philly.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. But you're all from Philly?
Yeah.
Got it.
I think we're all ready. I have an intro for you, by the way.
Oh.
I do an intro for all my guests.
Okay.
Okay. All right. First of all, thank you, Daniel's Bar and Restaurant. Have you guys been here before? Have you been here before?
No.
No?
I've never been.
It's really nice. It's really nice. Our next guest is Pennsylvania pop singer-songwriter who got her first big break working with the Chainsmokers. Her hit song Rozes is now certified over 30 times platinum. Check out our new single, Love a Stranger. Ladies and gentlemen, Elizabeth Mencel, AKA Rozes.
Yes.
Thanks for coming on the pod. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me.
Of course. Like I said before, we're at the beautiful Daniel's Bar and Restaurant. 10 minutes from your house.
Yeah.
You live in Conshohocken.
Yeah.
You're local, so I wanted to have you on. So thank you so much, by the way. I actually just realized, I was telling Maddie on the way here, your song Matches.
Mm-hmm.
I used to listen to that at Temple all the time. Like when I
Really?
was walking to class and like sometimes at my parties. It was like one of my favorite songs ever. It was so
I wrote
good.
it while going there.
Did you really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. And I was going to class. There's levels, you know, but
Well, I was skipping class, so you were doing the right thing.
nah, but seriously though, thank you. Like I'm so excited to have you on. Like I know you've done a lot in the music industry and you're still doing a lot in the music industry. And doing it from Pennsylvania, you know, is interesting because usually it's like the LAs and the, you know.
Yeah, I'm mostly in Nashville now, but
I love that.
since the I just don't like LA. But since the pandemic, it's been easier to be like here more.
Right.
So I live back and forth.
Right.
So.
And you just got married. Congratulations.
Yes.
Brendan, congratulations, brother. So how was the wedding?
It was great.
Good. Where was it at?
It was at the Lake House
Okay.
in Percy.
Okay.
But everybody's like, oh, it's going to be a blur. You're not going to remember anything. I feel like I remember everything.
Yeah.
Really?
And they were like, you're going to forget to eat the cake. I was like, I will not forget to eat the cake.
Yeah, so that was probably like a crazy planning, huh? Were you like the bridezilla?
No, I wasn't. My mom was the momzilla.
Was.
She was like the bridezilla for me because I think she's like, my daughter's too chill that I won't, like, we need to get this done. And
Right.
so she was like always on me, like, have you
Yeah.
done this? Have you? And I was like,
Oh my god, that's so funny. Where in Nashville are you living?
West Nashville?
Okay. I lived out there for 6 months.
Really?
I was bartending on Broadway.
Where were you? Oh, really?
Yeah, I
What
lived-
bar?
It was Paradise Park.
Okay.
They closed down in December,
Oh,
which is like so
no,
sad, but
that
they
is
just
sad.
opened Garth Brooks Bar there.
Yeah.
So it's that building. But yeah, RIP.
Yes.
I like went out there for the first time like last
Since?
year and like loved it.
Yeah.
Was like, I need to
Gotta
move
move
here.
back.
Asked them if they would hire me. They said, yup, move there. And I'm actually going December 3rd, so I'll be there
Oh,
in like 2 weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she was hustling out there for a little while. Then she came back. She came back to Philly. So
Sadly.
yeah, but it's not too bad.
It's a
But-
rough
Nashville's
change.
great. though.
It's
Love it
honestly,
out
it's
there.
very similar to here. Like the
Yeah.
layout, besides not having water, like being landlocked is very difficult for me, but
Right.
Yeah.
I do love being there.
Yeah. So I wanted to get into your music career and Love a Stranger. I love it. It's like a nice little
thank
country
you.
vibe. It's like,
Yeah.
and I know I've noticed you've done a lot of electronic music.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a reason behind that? Like why you were in that genre for so long?
Honestly, I fell into it. I didn't mean to. I really wanted to be an alternative artist, but like when I posted stuff on SoundCloud, the Chainsmokers found me. Like I did this first collab with this guy Just a Gent over in Australia, and that was like my first like footstep into.
Yeah, it was. Let me see. I have it in my notes here. It was called
I tell you?
Called Limelight, right?
Yes,
Okay.
it was called Limelight. And then I was like, okay, cool. Now I'll continue on with my career. And then the Chainsmokers found that song. And like while I was going to Temple, they like DM'd me. And I was like, oh, they just,
So
like I thought they just
someone
wanted to,
told
like,
me.
hook
So
up.
it's kind of like a weird full circle moment for me because I remember being at Temple and someone like I swear to God, we used to pregame to like Rozes. Like it was when me and my friends like favorite song my freshman year. We were in my dorm and this what we would play. We always do the snap part. It's so funny. So like I remember let me know if this is true or not. We can confirm this.
Okay.
Did you find out at the fresh grocer?
Yes.
You did.
Yeah, I literally was
Wow.
picking out yogurt.
How weird
Yeah.
is dude, someone told me that.
Yeah.
So how did they reach out to you about that?
Twitter. They
Really?
DM'd me. Yeah. I was with my friend Owen, and I was like, I'm pretty sure these guys like just are hitting on me. And I had said I had sworn off EDM, and I was like, unless it's the dudes that did the selfie song, I'm not doing it. And then they had
them.
messaged me literally the next day.
Wow.
It was wild. The
You
way
manifested that, huh?
must have happened.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how they just did selfie, right?
Yeah.
So they weren't they were big, but they weren't
Yeah,
everywhere.
and then they put out a few songs before me, like Waterbed, and there was another one with Great Big World, I think.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what was that process like? Them reaching out to you, you agreeing. So did you meet them, or did you write the song and then it was just back and forth on over the internet? Was it in person at all or no?
Yes, it was. It started over they sent me a bunch of tracks, and I just found the best one and wrote what is now Roses. But then I was like, I think it would be awesome if we could get in and rework this track, which we ended up doing, and reworking some lyrics and stuff. I remember Drew being like, we should say something about weed, and that's where the
Smoke
weed
a
line,
little weed
yeah.
in the cat. Yeah.
So that's where that came from.
It's so good.
Yeah, and I skipped class. I remember skipping class to take the train up, and my mom's like, just don't tell your dad, don't tell your father, and so yeah, it's just
So
happened.
your mom was supportive, and then so what was
Yeah.
that instant feedback when the song dropped? I can only imagine.
When it dropped, well, okay, so I have two brothers that were in the industry and signed a major record label at the time, and I showed one of them, and he was like, this song is not good. And I was like, dang.
Really?
And he's my toughest critic too. So he was like, no, this song is not good, Liz. I don't know about this one. So when it dropped and it got the response that it did, it was nobody anticipated it. I didn't even, because I was like, oh, it's not good. Everybody's saying it's not good.
Right. So what was your career like after that? Because I noticed you put up an Instagram reel where it was I did the sold out arenas, and still no one knows who I am. So what was that like?
It's weird. I feel like the Masked Singer. I really do.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is her. So you can see her. You know what I mean? But that's awesome.
Yeah, no, I was doing shows with them and stuff like that. I was getting hit up by other DJs, and so I've become friends with a lot of DJs and a lot of people within the industry. So I'm in the behind the scenes stuff, and I obviously have my artist career, which is in the scene stuff, I guess, if that's what you call it. But yeah, I mean, it's never. I was talking to a producer about this the other day. He's like, it's never gonna feel as big as that, because that was your biggest moment. You know, it's like.
But you still had some hits though. Like I said, Matches. You Galantis. You did Boys and Girls, or Boys Like Girls. Boys Like Girls. It's a good one too.
Yeah.
On Mads, I don't know if you heard that one, but it's
I
good.
know that one.
It's my college jams.
He used
But
to know he would play Roses all the time.
That's so
We've
funny.
been friends forever, and I remember him always playing Roses
I'll,
at his parties.
off the pod, I'll show you some videos from my Temple house. It
Oh
was
my
wild.
God, I would love
Yeah.
that. I'm pretty sure Diplo went to Temple too.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Really?
yeah, he did. He went to Temple too.
What a great
What
school.
great school, great alumni, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, so are you on tour now, or you're currently just working on
No,
music
yeah.
behind the
So
scenes?
right now I'm writing a lot, and I'm gonna play a show in Nashville soon. It's touring is different
go.
now.
Yeah, you gotta let us know when it is, and we'll.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Touring is just it's so different since the pandemic. You don't make it's more out than in,
Right.
Really, and so it's not worth it, especially now because there's TikTok and there's ways to get out there without having to go to Oklahoma and play
Do
a
it
show.
over your phone.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I love playing shows though. I want to play one.
Do you have a favorite show that you've done?
Oh
Or,
God.
favorite area to play, city.
I don't know. There's this one place in New Mexico called Meow Wolf, which is this weird like museum, but it's interactive and you walk through tunnels and stuff.
That's pretty cool.
It was wild, but I think I liked playing Colorado the best.
Colorado.
Yeah.
What was it about Colorado that you enjoyed?
I don't know. Honestly, I think it was just I've always wanted to go to Colorado, and then once I got there, I was like, it's everything you want it to
It's
be.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, and
That's
the people are
amazing.
great there.
That's amazing. And you were what, 21, 22 when this
Yeah.
all happened, right?
Yeah.
So did you graduate Temple?
No. Nope.
Dropped out.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
I did not. I graduated from Monca though, so I have an associate's
There you
degree
go.
if I want to go
That's
back.
So how does your family? Your mom mentioned not to tell your dad about skipping class. Like, was your family supportive of your music career?
Yeah. Yeah, well, they were, but they always wanted me to have like a backup plan. Like my plan was to be a nurse. And so like, cause my mom's a nurse, and usually when you have a mom that's a nurse, you become a nurse. That's just kind of like the way it goes.
Right.
And like, so I remember like just going to Temple was like a big change for my parents. They were like,
Right.
I don't know, like if you're not gonna be a nurse,
City
like,
school,
what are you gonna do? And so I was like, well, if I'm like, I want to write music. So if I'm not gonna become like a music writer, like I want to be a writer in some way. So I was going to Temple for like journalism and stuff. And so then when the Chainsmokers song came out and it was like on the radio, I think that's when I was like, I think I'm going to drop out of school. And
Maybe
like,
just a hint.
I
Yeah,
remember
maybe.
telling my parents, it was like the first summer me and Brendan were like together. And I was like, I think I'm going to tell my parents that I'm not going to go back to school. And he was like, you just do it. Just do it. So I'm like on the beach. Worst timing ever. I was on the beach, wasted, and I was like, I'm not going back next semester. And they were like, well, we'll talk about this later.
Were you just like, because I can only imagine, like, hey, you're wasted on the beach, but are you just
Yeah.
like, wow, like, I'm the shit right now? Like, I have the biggest song in the world? Like, be honest. Like,
Honestly, I never felt that way.
Really?
It never felt big enough. Like, it always felt like I was moving, like, the goalpost. Like, it always felt
That's
like
very normal.
we needed more.
yep. Is that
Like-
something you're feeling now?
Yeah, for
In your
sure.
career?
Yeah.
But I think, like I said, Love a Stranger, I love that song. It's my shower song.
Thank
To be honest
you.
with you. I think it's very good. Like, because I was listening to it, I know you were posting about it, and I was like, obviously, let me do my research. And then I listened to it, I'm like, wow, it's very different from what you've created before. And B, like, it's just like, it feels like it's more like you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. It feels like, so I wanted to do a thing where I could mesh the dance world while also being like me. So like, I feel like there's like parts of it that are still like dancey, like the cool horns.
Yeah,
and
there's
stuff,
yeah,
you know?
you have like the
'Cause,
little,
like when I tour, my favorite thing to do is like dance on stage,
Yeah.
and I'm like, if I can't do that, then I'm not doing what I want to do.
Exactly. So I wanted to ask too, like, when it comes to your music, do you have a creative process, especially with like dance? Because I understand it's got to be very, like, the chorus has to hit, like the you know, it has to be so. And you're very prolific in a few other instruments, and we'll get into that in a second. But do you what's your creative process like when you're writing a song?
Usually, like, I don't know. When I first started, it was very random. I'd sit at the piano, I was heartbroken, and just stuff would just pour out of me. Now I'm like in a very, very like stable marriage.
You're married.
I would say relationship. I'm actually married now.
Dylan, can we get a pan on him, please?
Yeah. Oh God, he's gonna be like, I need to approve that. No, I'm just kidding. But it's like now I kind of draw inspiration from like books and movies and my friends' relationships and stuff like that. But like I collect, like in my notes on my phone, I collect concepts. So like if I'm just like hear someone say something, I'm like, that's a cool concept, I'll just write it down. Or like a title to a song basically. And that's kind of where I start now. And that's how Nashville works, is like I had this one idea of the title being this, whereas like normally I was just like sit down at the piano and things would happen.
Yeah. And I noticed like your songs will be like not sad, but like definitely like,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
heartbreaking. But I'm like,
It's
okay,
always
like
heartbreak.
she just got married.
I I always say
but
this,
it's-
like every time a producer's like, what do you want to write? I'm like, I just want to write like a heartbreak dance song that people could cry and dance
that's
to.
fair. And that's fair. And like, because I know, like, I'll write stuff. Like I sing too, and I'll write songs, and I'm like, people probably think I'm sad. I'm like, no, it's just like you write about experiences. You know what I mean? It's like it's a story. You know.
Yeah.
And speaking about producers, so you work who do you work with? Would you say like,
My
you have
go-to.
like yeah like
So I used to work with my brother a lot, and then he decided, you know, music just, it sucks. It's the worst.
it could have been a Billie Eilish Finn
and it
type of
was for a
thing.
very long time. He did a lot of my songs with me, like one of my first like EPs. He did the whole thing and like
amazing.
stuff like that. But I now work with this guy Togs. I work with I did Love a Stranger with this guy Todd Clark, who does a lot of the Philip Phillips stuff. So
Okay.
it's like you can hear the inspiration of like things that they've done
Right.
within the music that I'm doing. And I tend to work with, and I hope they don't listen to this, I tend to work with older guys. They're gonna be like, you're calling me old.
What's
I troll them all the time
What's
for
the
it, though.
reasoning behind that?
I don't know. I think what it is like it's people who used to be in a rock band or used to be in a touring band or used to like tour or be a guitarist in a band of some sort. I don't know why. There's like a grunge behind it and like a darkness to them that I love.
Right.
And also like I feel like the conversations are better. They're not surface level.
Right. Yeah, and I know we have mutual friends, Benny Brown.
Yeah.
So that's actually how I even got you on the podcast.
Yeah.
So I was DJing a wedding for EBE Sounds.
Okay.
And Benny was the drummer. And it was my first event for EBE, and we were like at a rooftop, it was like the Philadelphia Library, beautiful.
Amazing.
And I see this dude setting up his drums with like light up drums, and I'm like,
him.
who is this dude? And then so he works with like this guy Max, like he's like a big like artist, and he was telling me, he's like, yeah, I know Rose. I'm like, wait, you know Rose? Like, I'm like, what? I'm like, let me like just like shoot her a DM, and then like so like it was we were going back and forth a little bit. I know she's been traveling like crazy, working a lot. But yeah, so Benny told me, I'm like, dude, I have to get her on the pod. And it's just like it was just such a cool moment. And Benny's a great guy too.
Honestly, if anybody drops Benny's name, I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like he's the person that he's the shoe-in.
He's so
like
good.
If anybody needs a foot through the door, it's like just drop his name.
Yeah, and I did, and no, but like he's so talented though. Like I remember, like I'm like playing, and like I'm like, oh, I'm like, dude, what a drummer! It's just a different energy. Like everybody's like vibing.
Yeah.
And so I'll notice people like watching them, like okay, like it's like a not normal wedding. But speaking of instruments, I know you mentioned that the saxophone saved your life.
Yeah.
How did it save your life?
I was like heavily bullied in school, and so when when you're going, at least in my elementary school, they were like, you start playing instruments in like 4th grade, you pick an instrument. And that's kind of where my bullying started, was 4th grade. So it all kind of like lined up. I picked the saxophone. I wanted to play trumpet, but my mom said the saxophone. So Mom, thank you for that, I guess. But yeah, so it just kind of became my escape from everything, from like, instead of like having to go to the lunchroom, I just went to the band room, you know? Right. So it became like my identity, and music itself has become my identity in general. But yeah, it's funny because like I used to be made fun of for playing it, and now it's like in every like EDM song, and then I meet Big Gigantic, and he literally plays it his whole show.
And now it's like it's so funny. Like we have like these guests on all the time. I know Matt has a few questions for you, but we have these guests on all the time, and it's always the same theme. It's like, I was the first one to do it. I got made fun of for it, and then I became very successful at it. And then everyone's like, oh, wait, I don't want to do this. And it's like, should have been on the bandwagon when it, you know?
I think that's actually the good thing about TikTok. I know a lot of people hate on TikTok, but like it kind of shows how like human people are.
It is such a good tool for
like I tell Brendan all the time, I'm like, people are so human. Like they crack me up.
People, it's funny. Something you realize too is how funny people are.
So funny. Like, and I thought I was funny. I was like, these people are hilarious.
Like people. So yeah, it's just people's humor is just so good, especially on Twitter too.
Yeah,
but I know Maddie, a few questions for you.
Yeah, now I'm like blanking because he took so long to get to me.
Sorry.
I'm like, but I guess like in terms of like kind of just going off of like your Instagram and you know your TikTok and things like that, like in regards to saying that like you grew up being bullied, right? Like now you're very like confident in, it seems at least, right?
Okay,
like especially in like what you believe in, right? So like a lot of the times like advocating for women's rights and whatnot, and like that's a subject that like not everyone agrees with.
Yes.
So like where do you think that you've gained that confidence to just, you know, like follow through with what you believe and post about it and like not care, especially if there was like that history of like,
I think the way I look at it is like I have been made fun of in the worst ways. Nobody could hurt me the way that they did.
Gotcha.
And like, so why not just speak out about the things that I care about? Because regardless of what those people say, it will never measure up to what I've already gone through. So now I'm just like, you know, and I want to be the person that I didn't have to look up to when I was younger. Like, you know, because, you know, it was just different. Like, I think the artists that I did look up to would have had spoken out about these things, but there was no Instagram, there was no Twitter, there was no TikTok. So I didn't get to see them doing that, you know? So I want to do that for the people that need it.
Yeah.
Who would you say you like looked up to the most in the industry before getting?
It was definitely Adele. I looked up to her a lot.
Yeah.
I think like her heartbreak, and like she said something when her first album came out, and it was something along the lines of like, I've always made a promise to be vulnerable, and like, you know, so basically she's just showing like the weakest parts of her and allowing people to ridicule every part of it. And so I think that just really like made me like feel something. And I was a Taylor Swift fan back in the day too, where it was like
little Swifty.
I loved like just her calling people out. Like I was like into that because I went through a bad breakup. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna call him out. So you know.
So do you think that you now have a responsibility to like sort of be that person that you never had, right?
Yeah.
So do you have your fans reach out to you and like say and mention that? Like,
yeah, for sure. I definitely have a lot of people in my DMs like, thank you for saying this. Like, I feel like not a lot of people are speaking out about this, or even just when like a song hits somebody in a certain way. It's like, this song saved my life. Like, I get a lot about Roses, obviously it was my most popular song, but like I get a lot of people saying like, this got me through a really hard time. And whenever I hear it, I think of like getting through that. So it is really cool to see because, you know, like I have my down days where I'm like, I feel like I'm like just like a drop in the well. Like I feel like I'm a nobody, but then there's like, I go in and like read message requests and it's just people that are like,
so when you feel like that, how do you combat that? How do you get past that?
Writing, doing the thing that hurts me the most.
Right. But sometimes like that pain ultimately like puts you into the best place that you can be. You know, like they say like it's supposed to rain before it gets sunny again. It's stuff like that, like going through it. You know. So when you were younger, getting bullied, and you didn't have this platform and quote unquote, for lack of a better term, status, like. What did you do, like, when you were feeling that? How did you get through that as well? Was it just writing still?
Yeah, a lot of songwriting. Music was literally my savior. I played soccer. I played a lot of sports. I was, like, a big soccer girl.
Love that.
And so, like, just having, like, friends outside of my school be my best friends also helped. Like, I had friends that I grew up with that were outside of school. That helped, too.
How old were you when you got into music?
My mom my mom and dad, I should say, started me in piano lessons at 4.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I was young. And then I think I was 6 when I started like violin. And then it just kind of kept building where I was like, and my family, like everyone in my family plays at least 2 instruments. So there was always instruments around the house to just try.
So how many instruments do you know how to play?
See, my Wikipedia says more than I actually know how to play.
That's so funny.
That's awesome.
I wouldn't say I know how to play violin anymore, but I could pick it up and play a song probably.
Right.
Yeah, I was reading your Spotify, and it was like, is this? I'm like, damn. I'm like, okay.
I know.
Let's go.
Right? But like from saxophone, you could play a lot of instruments. Like I learned to play clarinet. I learned flute from there, and then everything of the woodwind works, right? And then piano, guitar. So
Say it was easy to pick up the instruments, or like, do you think you struggled with some of them?
I mean, I still struggle with them. I think I think the thing about learning an instrument is that you never stop learning.
Right.
So
Do you have a favorite?
it's hard to say. It's like picking a favorite family member. I love the saxophone. I feel so cool when I play it.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's probably, I would say that's my favorite. Like, I feel so awesome.
Can you play your songs to it? Like,
Yeah.
do you play them at your shows ever? or
Yes,
no?
I play it at my shows.
That's so
We're
sick.
going to go
Yeah.
to the Nashville one.
When's
Yes.
your next show?
I'm planning one hopefully for like January or February.
Oh,
In
So
Nashville?
you let me know. I'll put you on the guest list.
I would love to be on the guest list. Backstage, get me in the green room. Let's go.
Yeah, I
like,
got you.
I would love that.
I fly out to Nashville as often as possible.
Do
So like,
you?
I'll just bring him with me.
Yes, you
Yeah,
have
we'll
to.
go.
I'm there. It'll be a good time. So diving into your family, I know family is very important to you. So how was your upbringing? You have siblings? A lot of
Yes,
siblings?
I have 2 older brothers.
2 older brothers, correct? Okay. And then so I want to get, if you don't mind, how did you meet Brendan? Like, how'd that happen?
We met on Tinder.
Let's go.
He was my swipe right at Temple, and
Let's
literally
go.
my bio was like, if you don't do water sports, swipe left. Like we were both like such trolls on Tinder, not looking for anything serious. His bio was like, I'm just looking for Instagram followers. I was like, this dude's hilarious. And of course the picture was him surfing. So I was like,
Love
soulmate. And,
That's awesome.
You know, worked out.
So when you were, when you weren't in a relationship, did you ever feel like lonely? Did you ever have those times where you felt lonely and alone?
I think honestly, like Brendan, close your ears, but I was a serial monogamous. Like I was serially always dating somebody.
Okay.
So I think, yeah, I had a fear of being alone, of doing life alone, I just always had a craving to like meet my other half, and I knew that person was out there.
Right.
I think that's what it was.
And how old were you guys when you met?
21.
So he was 21 at Temple. So we guys were seniors.
I wrote
guess?
Roses about him, and that was as soon as I met him.
Yo, they just wrote the biggest song ever about you.
I know.
Dude, how does that feel?
I'm like, we won't sign a prenup because he deserves it all.
That is amazing. So have you guys been taking trips at all? Like, do you have when you're traveling, you take a lot of like traveling?
Yeah, oh yeah, we love to. We take one big trip a year. We just took our first one since the pandemic, but we love like going to Europe and that kind of stuff. I think our next adventure is going to be like Cornwall. Where's that? It's in Europe.
UK?
The UK.
Okay, UK. See.
I don't know the map.
Should have got a fourth mic. Damn it! I didn't know you were coming, bro.
You're good.
But yeah, so I wanted to, I guess, so going into, you got a question, man?
I was just going to say, like, in terms of, like, you guys being together since you were 21, but, like, you still kind of keep your personal life very off social media. Yeah. And, like, what made you make that decision, I guess?
I think Brendan's actually a very shy person. Like, you get to know him, and he's an onion. Like, I mean, there's so many layers. But he's actually very shy. And also, I think as a woman in the industry, you have to kind of keep that stuff private. You always have to seem, like, desirable in some way. Right. But I also think that since being Rozes, I've always felt like I've had like two split lives. Like, I'm Liz and I'm Rozes, and the stuff that goes on the Rozes page is Rozes. Right. And like, obviously, me getting married was a big moment.
It's a life
in both lives.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think it's difficult to choose when. Like, he'll ask me too, like, when, because I have like how you can post to your close friends, and it's like, he's like, when do you choose to post to your close friends and to the public? And I'm like, I feel like the things that I don't know, that feel delicate to me, I like to keep private. I don't know.
So I guess I should have asked this in the beginning of the pod, but like, where is your nickname? Where did Rozes come from?
So in the beginning,
I should have asked that a while. And I swear to God, actually, so the amazing people here at Daniel's Bar and Restaurant, they set up. There you go. They set up this here, but there's a rose there, and I promise you, I didn't ask them to do that. 'Cause that's like too on the nose. I promise.
Wait, when you like moved it over like a few minutes ago, it just clicked. I was like, did he plan this?
No,
like,
absolutely not.
I did see that, and I was like, very, very nice.
Yeah, let's get you comfortable real quick.
Okay, perfect.
How's that?
Perfect.
Okay, cool.
What was the question?
So basically, I was just talking about like, where'd you get your nickname?
My
from?
name. Got it. So I went by, like, when I was in high school, I was like gonna go by the name of Lizbeth Rose. I always wanted to have a different name than what I had. Well, first of all, Lana Del Rey's name is Lizzie Grant, and like, I couldn't be a Lizzie, which is funny because my mom's name is Liz Grant. Okay. But anyway, so I didn't want anything that like could connect me to who I am outside of music. I feel like just as at a young age, I always knew I wanted to be someone different than I don't know. Maybe it was from being bullied. I was like, I'm gonna be cooler than her. Yeah. But yeah. So then Rose has always been in my name, and my grandmom's name is Rose. She's like my biggest inspiration in life, and so it was back when, like, I don't know if you remember the band Paris, but they spelled the A, it was like an upside down V or something. Okay, yeah. And so it was like during that era of like doing that kind of thing. It's like trendy to like. Yeah. So it's like, we're gonna put a Z in it. Yeah. And so yeah, and now people still don't know if I'm a group or a person. Really? Yeah. I mean, they should know now. I mean, like, I go to events, and like, if I don't go to events and introduce myself as Rozes, it's like I didn't show up. So like, I have to be like, Rozes, and then like people will be like, multiple. So talk me through. So I really want to dive into this too, like having that success initially, right, with Rozes, and then you have your first show. So what was that like? Because you went to the limelight pretty fast. Like, no pun intended, because that was your song, but but seriously though, like, you went in very fast. So like, what was that like, and what was your first concert like? My first show, I played with Benny, and I feel like it was like a whirlwind. I don't think I caught up to life until like a couple years ago. Until the pandemic, honestly, I don't think I was able to like be like, oh, this is what life is. Really? Because like, I didn't expect my career, like, it was like the third song I released, and I was on the radio. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's like, we literally had no idea. Like, my brother's my manager, still my manager to this day. Like, we were just like, let's figure this out, I guess. Like, what do we do? And so, yeah, we planned a show. I think my first show was Baby's All Right in Brooklyn. Brooklyn. I think it's in Brooklyn. Yeah. It was definitely Baby's All Right. And I just remember thinking, like, like, wow, okay, I
Crazy.
guess this is like, it was like packed, and I was like, I guess this is happening. I don't know what's happening to me.
That's wild. So would you get like a booking manager to set all that up for you?
Yeah, so, well, I don't remember. Well, back in the day, back in 2015.
Isn't it crazy? It was like 7, 8 years
I
ago.
literally
know.
said 2015 doing the intro right before you came up here. And I was like, wait, pause. That song's from 2015? Like,
Yes.
we're
Yes, we are. But it was like blogs were a big thing. So like if you got like it, like I was on this one blog, Nylon. Is it Nylon? And they're connected to Baby's All Right. And so they were like, why don't we set up a show, partner? And so that's how it happened.
That's amazing. So obviously we talked a lot about a success in the industry, but what does success mean to you?
I was literally just talking about this the other day with one of my co-writers. I was like, how do we know like what success is? Like at what point do we stop and be like, all right, I'm successful? Because I don't think I know. I think that's like, I had like a mental breakdown like a couple weeks ago because I was like, at what point do I stop? And and be like, I've accomplished it.
Right.
I don't think
It's
that
because,
ever
it's because
happens.
I think it's because that hit you so fast. where
Yeah.
You have and like a lot of people work there. Most people like you were very like successful early on. But I know a lot of people like work 10 years, 15 years, 20 years to find that one song or that find that one part where that's like their aha moment when you had it right away. So it's like now you kind of have to like, in a weird way, mentally, you're like building yourself back up. Like you do very well, like numbers wise, but like now you're building yourself back up. But I think now for you, I mean, I think it's just finding what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Right? And having your audience engaged, you know?
For sure. I would argue to say like the way it happened to me is the way I wouldn't recommend. Like I obviously am so thankful for the song and the success that it had. But like if you are an artist and like just like figure out who you are as an artist, you know, like because I feel like that song blew up and then I was like, who am I? Like, what am I going to do? Then I fell into like back to that original question, like EDM was like the thing. I just kept doing it and doing it because it's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Well, then you get, that's actually a really good point because you get all these huge artists who hit you up, you know, and they're like, they want to do this song and they put you on in you know, EDM instrumental. And it's just like, it's a lot, you know. And
it's tough too because like, as an artist who, like, when it comes to EDM, you know, like, you think of Bebe Rexha, like, how many songs she's written that are just massive. Right. And it's just, like, she should be as massive as the people that she's writing.
And they're not even
with.
her song. Like, the other artists use her songs.
Yeah. Like, she should be as massive as, you know, like, I hope she doesn't take that as an insult. I love you to death. But I'm just saying, like, I think that it's tough when you become somebody who's like a feature artist, I guess. Like, you know, we're putting our blood, sweat, and tears into these songs, but then they come off like we're just singing the song.
Right. So have you, obviously you're very talented at writing. Have you written for any artists?
Yes.
Who you want to share or no?
Yeah. I mean, I've written with some really awesome people, and I think that it's tough because like as an artist, I think a lot of my songs land in DJ's laps as you know, like obviously that's like the go-to. Like when I have like a co-writer and like, oh, who's looking for a song right now? It's usually like, oh, let's look at this DJ. And then like we send it out and then it's just me on the song.
But what's your ultimate goal 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line?
I would like to have a Grammy. That's definitely something that like every year the nominations come out. And every year I'm like, I'm going to be there next year. I'm going to be there next year.
What do you want it to be with, obviously with your voice, correct? Right.
I mean, I would take one for a song I wrote.
Right.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say this too. Like your voice is so unique, and I just want to say I
Yeah.
really love your voice. So I wanted to go back because we're at our roots. We're a mental health podcast. I know we hit on different things like cool stuff like you working with the Chainsmokers, but getting back on like you being bullied, like because that's something so hard to like overcome, you know, as a human being, you know. So when you're in that stage, like what were like some things advice that you maybe have taken from other people, or like what have you found within yourself in those dark times that brought you out of that?
That's tough because I think I still deal with it today. Like my therapist calls it, my therapist calls it old automatics. So like basically your brain kind of switches into this moment of what you used to feel. And so I still deal with that. And a lot of the music industry where you feel like you're not invited to sit at the table, that kind of thing, like you're not cool enough to sit at the table. So I'm still dealing with that daily. But I think the biggest advice that I have, or the thing that like has made me the most I don't know, overcome it, has been like realizing that you're not going to fit at everybody's table. And sometimes you can just build your own.
Right. I like
You
that.
know, and so I think that's really what it was, because I was like, you know, I didn't really ever fit in, but I don't think I ever really wanted to.
Right.
Yeah. That's like the idea of like, people always be like, oh, I want to be normal. What's normal?
Yeah.
Right? Like, and if it is a thing, like, why, like, you don't want to fit in with everyone.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And then
be
when
your
you
own
grow up, you
person.
realize, like, what was I fitting into? Like, what did they believe
And
in?
I think that's a
Like, you know?
lot of people realize. I know I'm realizing that, like, I'm 26 now, like, realizing that when I was in high school, like, what was I trying to actually fit into?
Yeah.
And then you realize, like,
What was the mold?
right, like you find your people, and then you want to start, like, whether it's like for me, like DJing, whatever, you want to start like your own thing, and it's like not everyone understands it or has something to say about it. But like next Wednesday, I'm opening up for Joel Corey at Nodo.
Okay.
Like I'm just like, dude, like I still haven't wrapped my head around it. But like it's just funny because like it's like a choice that like I made to continue with it. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people can like take from like your success and like what you've accomplished already.
kind of speaking on what he's saying, not to cut you off.
Go ahead, no, yeah.
But, like, in regards, like, so with him, right?
And pull the mic close to you.
Can you not hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Well, you have it super low.
Sorry.
But,
Yeah, we were like,
Sorry.
slouching down.
Should I move it up a little bit?
no, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
I
can
mean,
do
do
it,
I
I
sound fine?
Okay.
Yeah, you sound
I
good.
think this is better,
That's
right?
better. Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
There you go.
Like, wait, now
We're
I
not a
lost my
serious
train of thought.
podcast.
He
so
was
we
like,
could-
they're 3 feet tall.
I was an insult. No.
Like, oh, slouch.
My bad. I got all my back pain after this.
Honestly, you're not the first person to put the mic like super low for me. It's fine.
I think he's not used to traveling with it. But
Yeah.
Got
I have a
Yeah.
set in Fishtown that's like all
Oh, we used
set
to
up.
live in Fishtown.
Oh,
that's
nice.
so funny.
Yeah.
But so like with him like opening up for Joel Corey, like I literally texted him yesterday. I'm like, Kev, like you have to realize this is huge. Like you should be so proud of yourself. Do you think
Aw.
that you give yourself like the right like credit? Because you've accomplished so much in such a short period of time, and like obviously there's always room for growth, and I'm sure you're never gonna stop wanting to be bigger and wanting to do better. But like, do you take the time to actually like acknowledge everything that you've done and like, you know, take it all in, I guess?
Yeah, I think sometimes there's moments
Okay.
like it's hard to do when it's the in betweens. Like,
Right.
okay, I played a show at Red Rocks last month, 2 months ago, and I was like, wow, like bucket list moment, right? And so, and then like that was like the time when I was like soaking in, like, oh my God, I'm doing this like crazy. But then, you know, I fly back to Nashville and I'm like, okay, here I am again. You know, like there's like those like, it's like, my drummer describes it the best. He's like, the industry, there's like such high highs that when you're actually at normal, it feels like you're so low.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's actually
makes sense.
that makes a lot of sense
Yeah.
actually, because you start to take for granted like your Nashville show, which is like something that someone else is working their entire life for. You know, I think it's so important to be grateful and just be present and like and take the moment in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what is your favorite part about being an artist? Nothing about numbers, nothing about being successful. But what's your favorite part about being an artist?
I think I get to be who I am just in my everyday life. Like, I get to create I get to say what I want to say and not get in trouble for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's true.
I don't know how to say
Yeah, yeah.
I always joke about this too, because it's like, oh, I could get arrested doing that, but it might help my career. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Numbers,
like,
baby, let's do
there's
it.
literally
Yup.
no limits. Like I
Yup.
could just do anything.
Yeah, that's funny.
She's like, oh, it'll make a great front cover story. Me getting
Exactly.
arrested.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Maybe I could use that kind of moment.
So I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into the Chainsmokers collaboration as well. Obviously, it's a bigger song, but I want to dive into just because I'm sure our audience is curious. So like, when they reached out to you on Twitter and then you had this set up, so what was the first step? Was it the instrumental, or were you behind the instrumental, or was it just the lyrics? Like, how were you involved
So
in that song?
after I got the track, went up, met them, basically the song, the melody and the lyrics as they are was written. And then we built around that because I technically wrote it to a different track, to a different production.
Okay.
So, so then Drew, who didn't really play synth at the time, was like just kind of like fiddling around.
Well, it's Drew and what's the other guy's name?
Alex.
Alex, right? Okay.
And I remember Alex sitting on the couch being like, dude, what if we added in a what? And like that,
Yeah.
there's the what in there.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it was the most random thing, like, ordered Chinese food.
Oh my God.
Drew was like, literally had a mic here and like was playing guitar. Like,
Really?
Yeah.
Where were you guys filming it, recording it at?
we were at Drew's apartment.
Where is that at?
It was in Manhattan.
In New York, okay.
But I don't believe it is anymore.
Got it.
Unless he still
See,
owns
we
it.
have to go to New York. I keep telling him, I'm like, Kev, we have to travel to New York and get some podcasting out there because
New York's
everyone's
great.
always there, and
Yeah.
it's not too
Well,
far.
if you ever want to do more art, like artists or writers, I can.
I would love to.
Okay,
I
cool.
mean, anyone who wants to hop on a pod. I mean, we just had Anissa from the challenge on last
Okay,
week. so
yeah, I
we-
definitely have some people that would love to do
That'd
something
be
like
sweet.
this.
So like when you're
You're good.
Maddie was showing me like you were taking selfies earlier. She's like, dude, Kev, she looks like this. Are you kidding me? I'm like,
I'm like, Kev, I'm here, no makeup, straight from work. I look a mess. And
If
she
you told
looks
me,
like
I would
this.
have not
She
worn
looks
makeup.
like this.
I'd much rather not wear makeup. So
so and like I said, thank you for getting all dressed up for this pod. But
You're welcome.
so when you're working with like the Chainsmokers and doing the song, what was I gotta know? What was that final moment when like the song was done and you three just sat there and just listened to it? Like,
we listened to it like 5 million times.
oh my god,
We looked at each other and we're like, this is smash. This is smash. This is smash. And then like anybody we showed to after that, well, their team was so supportive of it. Mine, on the other hand, was like, we'll see what this does.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why mine was skeptical. Like,
I mean, they're going
what the
from
hell,
selfie
guys?
to this, so like I'd be happy too. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
So
that
I
their
just
first
remember
hit?
we listened.
Yeah, selfie. Yeah.
We listened to it over and over again. Like, we just kept replaying it. And there was this one part, there's like an extended version. There's like, what you hear is the radio edit, but we had an extended version, which we were like, this feels like a walk in the park. Like, I bet you could find it on SoundCloud or
Really?
something.
Okay.
But I remember I sent it to Brendan, and he was still in school as well. And he would like play it for his friends and be like, yeah, dude, okay. Like, sure, this is going to come out. And like,
Dude,
finally it
that's
did.
so sick. So
Yeah.
I'm sure like all Brendan's friends. So wait, so like were all your friends just like when they see it go crazy, like they're just like, holy shit, like he was right.
Yeah, there's like that follow up, like, oh wait, this is that song you showed me, like.
Oh wow, it's like all like it's like
Yeah.
30 times platinum. Like, oh crap. That's such a cool story though. That song, like seriously, like and so also like when you when you finish a song, like, so do you have this feeling too, like when I do like covers and like songs, like I have this feeling where it's like your baby, and then once you release it, you're like, you don't listen to it as much anymore?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
like
we're
before I ever release a song, I'm like I'm not.
Like, I hate having to promote Love a Stranger because I'm like, I've been listening to the song for a while.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So do songs ever like get old when you're touring? Like,
No. Well,
you can say no for
Yes.
the pod, but like
yes, there are some songs that I'm like, I wish we could press skip. And
Mm.
like Benny knows, like if I'll be like, dude, we might call like a skip on this one. Like there's some that I'm like, I want to skip this. But
yeah. What's your favorite song to perform?
I do love performing matches.
Yeah.
And All of Me, because I get to bring out my sax.
That's sweet.
Yeah, that one's fun, really fun. And Benny has like a drum solo. It's great.
Oh, dude, you should.
We need the text. You need to text us when you pick a date. So that
Absolutely.
we can book our flight.
Yeah,
Absolutely, I will.
We'll be there.
I will.
So yeah, so let me. I guess
Sorry,
I'll
just,
ask
like,
again.
keep
So what's like
Oh,
your?
you're good.
Like I said, so obviously your ultimate goal is to win a Grammy.
Mm-hmm.
So when that finally happens, like, do you ever see yourself like not writing? You always gonna be
No.
always gonna be writing.
Yeah, I think like also I was raised by workaholics, like, and so like I think the job is never done.
Yeah.
I'm always going to be inspired to do something.
That's amazing. And so for any artist who's listening, like what's like some piece of advice that you would give them, like if they're in the middle of like their writer's block, or like, I'm sure we can get into that too, but like what would you say to an artist who has writer's block?
If you're in writer's block, read a book.
Read a book.
That's like the biggest thing I can say. Like if you're like a songwriter, if you're a producer, that I don't watch a movie with the crazy soundtrack. That's all I could say
Do you
about that.
produce?
Like, I can do demos. I do not. There's nothing that I've released that I produced besides a Blue Cheese track, which is Brendan. I made Brendan rap one time, and I was like, "We're releasing this under Blue Cheese."
Hell yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's so good.
And somebody commented, "Wait, is this Rose's side project?"
Wait, you put it out on
on
is it,
SoundCloud.
oh snap.
We're gonna listen to
There's
it.
like
after
no
this.
listens.
So are you
besides us.
are you on, so are you actively still using SoundCloud?
Kev, when you do the clip, like
No.
the reel, it's gonna be
No.
that song.
Yeah, when I do the clip, it'll be Blue Cheese. That's awesome.
Okay, I'm still advocating for his rap career. I think he has an amazing rap voice. Like, I'm like, please jump on this track with me.
I mean, if there's anyone
never
who
do
could,
it.
anyone could do it, maybe
If you're ever
maybe you'll
feeling
get a text in the
secrets.
Fresh Grocer or something, man. Like, you know what I mean?
His BMI name is Bren Franklin.
That's right. She's just trying to fry on the pot right now. I'm cutting all this out. All right.
Wait, so did he go to Temple too?
No, he went to Coastal.
Oh,
Oh,
wow,
Coastal
okay.
Carolina.
We met when we were both home for Thanksgiving break. I was actually still at Temple and he was home. That's why it was like, I guess our Tinder like miles lined up or
I was about to say,
something.
like, how did that relationship work out? Like,
It was really hard.
yeah, like
It
long
was
distance.
really hard. Actually, I wrote a lot of songs about him. Yeah. And I still do. A lot of my songs are about the hypothetical of like him leaving me for somebody else.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm like, this song is about you leaving me for someone. Like, I'll wake up every day and be like, you left me again in my dreams.
I mean, he's
Girls, we all do that though.
Yeah.
yeah, that's how it goes. But he's hanging here. He's hanging here with at the pod. So I mean,
That's
you can't.
true.
You know, he's a real one. So, so talk to me about like also like the wedding. Like, just how does it feel to like have your person? Like, just to like.
I guess it feels good. I feel like I've known that I've had him for a long time. So it's like, but I think being married just kind of like, okay, cool, we're a unit now.
Yeah, you're just like
You
a
know what I
team,
mean?
yeah.
You
Kinda
gotta
just,
deal
like,
with
used
me.
to it.
What would
Yeah.
you say was like the defining moment for you, like that realization, like, okay, he's my person, like he's who I'm being with for the rest of my life?
Actually, crazy as it seems, like the first time I met him, I was like, I think I met him in another life. Like I just like I've never believed in like multiple lives until I met him. I was like, I had to have known you. Like there's no other way.
That's so cool. Does it come to your shows sometimes?
Always.
Always.
He won't miss
Hell
a
yeah.
show.
Hell yeah. That's
Unless it's a casino gig, he's like not into those because those are like 2 a.m. sets. But
yeah. So do you have like
I don't
a?
blame you for that one.
yeah. He's like, I'm gonna pass.
He's like chilling.
But then I bring like my best friends and we just drink.
He's chilling at the slots while like you and Chainsmokers.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So kind of like your personal life, like do you go out as much? I'm sure you're busy all the time.
Not really. I think because I live in Nashville half the time, when I'm home, I just want to soak up being home. I want to see like my friends. And I've always been kind of a homebody. Like I've always been somebody where like my friends would come to my house. Like I never went to my friends' houses, and they've always said this. Like I was always the house to go to because I was never gonna go anywhere.
Right.
And but like I was always down to like party, but like it had to be at my house.
Right. And it's crazy too because I feel like you're like if you weren't doing music, you'd be a nurse, right? Or what do you
Yeah, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're such a homebody, but like to be like an artist, like with that kind of like status, like I said, it's just so interesting to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not like, you don't want to go out all the time. You're like, no, I just want to like chill at home. And,
It's literally the alter ego. It's like the
Yeah.
Roses versus Liz thing.
It's like this Hannah Montana life.
yeah,
It
right.
literally
Takes the wig off. To go.
As you were talking about it earlier, I'm like, okay, so Hannah Montana.
Yeah, that's literally
Miley
what it
Cyrus,
is.
Hannah
Yeah.
Montana,
That's
best of
literally
both worlds.
Like I know there's things that I have to do. Like there was like a CMA thing last week, and I'm thankful for going. Thank you. But I feel like I was like, I don't want to go to this. Like I don't feel like.
Do you ever get overstimulated or like just like too
I
much?
think it's mostly like I just don't want to see people. I don't
Right.
want to do the like, what have you been up to? Like what have you been writing? Like what? Like to me, it's just like. Get
Yeah.
on with it.
And
You know what I
does it
mean?
get
Like,
old?
say
Like
hi and
does it get
moving.
old talking about Roses though? Like, cause I know it's like your biggest song. Like, does that get old?
It doesn't get old. It doesn't because it's like I get to relive like one of the best moments of my life.
Yeah.
It's really cool to be able to do that, and but I think the biggest thing that I think it's mostly like when industry people like talk to me. I'm just
Right.
kind of like
You get like you're like
I don't know how to describe it. I guess I just feel like it's just shop talk. Like it feels fake.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're just keeping the
Do
connection.
you have to? So I'm sure when you first had that big song, because no one really knew you. Did you have to maneuver a lot of that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was always in like on radio shows or on like my publicist had me at like podcasts or photo shoots or with magazines or doing a live with this person, and it was just like over and over again. I felt like I was like reading a script at that
Really?
point. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you kind of mentioned how like you were just on all EDM songs after that. Like your life was
It
just
was
kind of like on
autopilot.
autopilot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, isn't that what like every artist dreams of though?
To be on autopilot.
No, like to like no.
Do they?
She just threw that
I guess
question right
that
back
would,
in my face.
I mean
so
that
I
would
respect it.
would be good though. I mean like honestly like all artists dream of being comfortable in their career.
That's what I'm saying. Though, like, doesn't every artist just have that dream of like, hey, I have to do this photo shoot, then I have to do this
sure.
interview? Because like that's like in reality, like how hard is it to really just sit in front of it? You know what I mean? Like
That yeah, no, I completely get that. And I think like when you see like a celebrity like complaining about the fame, like it's so cringy, right?
yeah,
And like so I try not to complain about those kind of things, but like like I'm just saying, like when I was like watching the Selena Gomez thing, I was like, wow, that
Her
like I would love
documentary.
to be in those situations. And then I think of situations that I've been in where I'm like, I don't want to be here, and I'm like, actually, that is relatable.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like in normal life too. Like when you have to go to like a work event that you don't want to go to, but you have to show up.
Right.
It's kind of just what it feels like over and over again.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if there's one thing, and it's probably a silly question, but if there's one thing you can go back and change in your life, what would it be?
In my life?
In your life.
Huh.
Yes.
I was say in my music career that's easy, but in my life I don't know. I think probably my insecurities around like who I was, because obviously it turned out fine.
Right.
But like how could I have known?
Right.
So I don't know that I would necessarily change anything. I feel like in my artist career I would read contracts better.
Okay. were you put in like a 360 deal or something?
I wasn't put in a 360 deal, but I would say like I was screwed over by a lot of like the people that I've worked with, because they knew I was so new in the industry that it was like,
Right. Did
Like
that?
she
That's a
know?
common like theme.
yeah, it's like
for
she's
new
getting
artists to go
fame
through.
for this, so like what does she know?
I was gonna say you're assigned to a label, right?
Yeah.
And you have a very good deal, healthy deal. I
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can
yeah.
imagine.
Yep.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, because I know a lot of artists just come and go because of their deals, and not even the talent, just their deals.
Well, I think it's tough too, because like, so what I'm in is called like an admin deal, which means that without like getting logistics, but basically I get to pirate my own ship of like I get to release music, the songs I want to release,
Right.
when I want to release them. And so obviously there's like pushback on some ends, but like
Yeah.
usually it works.
You have any
you
more?
know?
You have any more Christmas songs coming out?
I don't. Well, actually, no, I do. I have like a remix, because you know how like all of those like things on TikTok, like everything's sped up now.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I did like Baby Please Come Home. We have like a sped up version coming out.
Oh, let's go.
Ooh,
I'll do a
that's
I'll do a dance to it.
Gotta do it.
My roommate Chris is he has like 200 something K on TikTok. He'll do a dance.
Hell
to it.
yeah.
I'll get him to do a dance. Do you and Brendan go out?
Did we go out?
Yeah.
No.
I was gonna say, you guys should come to
Super
one of
real.
my shows soon.
Well, when,
I'm like, what are you
oh,
guys
you're
doing
playing
Thanksgiving
at Noto?
Eve?
Thanksgiving Eve, yeah.
Oh, Thanksgiving
Yeah, good time.
Eve.
Yeah, I know. I had to tell. It's the biggest. It's the biggest.
It's the
dri-
biggest
Awesome.
drinking night of the year.
Yeah.
It literally is.
That's why I'm like, Kev, like, acknowledge that you did something. Like, this is huge.
We already got a table and everything. So
That's
it's,
amazing.
Yeah, it's exciting. But yeah, like
Come, please, because
Yeah.
right now I'm the only girl.
Oh no.
no, trust me, we'll have no
That's-
shortage.
He's like, now we're gonna pull the girls.
Oh, yeah, but then I'm like, Kev, like, am I gonna like these ones? Like, come on.
Nah, we'll see what
I'm
happens.
What
like
do you
the girl
play?
that's always with the guys.
I play a little-
Originals.
So my originals are kind of like, they're a little slower, if that makes sense. Like, but no, when it comes,
does.
I do like my own mixes.
Cool.
But when I'm there, I play EDM.
His one mix, his most recent. Is it your most recent? Right.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I have
Like
two.
he does
Of
really
what?
good.
So I do like
mix-ups.
I do a lot of like mix ups, mashups of like other songs. Like put them together.
Yeah.
Like I've done like mashups of like I'll do like Bruno Mars and like an EDM song. Or something like crazy.
Bruno Mars
That's
always
so
hits.
good.
Let's
Yeah,
be real.
it's good. So I'll do a little bit of everything. I'm mixed with that, but I'm kind of like, I'm getting more into the city scene now. I do a lot of weddings and private events, but I want to get more into the city scene. So that's why I'm doing Noto, and I like do the Ben Franklin Yacht, and I do all these different things. And like I want to try to like kind of build that up into more city gigs. So I'm working on it. You know, I'm
Okay.
trying my best. I do the podcast as well. Like we've been doing this for like 2 years now.
Do you release music?
I do. I have
He's
a,
a
I'm
good
interviewing
singer.
you now.
yeah. I have a Apple Music and Spotify if you
Hell
ever
yeah.
want to listen. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
He has
So
a good voice.
thank you. But
Is
my,
your DJ name your
Look how
name?
it's
awkward
just
he
DJ KEV.
DJ KEV.
Because like I don't want to do like anything crazy. It's just DJ KEV. You know, it's simple.
It's simple.
You know,
It's
it's just
Is
no,
it?
it's just because it's hot. No, it's just hot, right?
Uh huh.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't
It's not just
like
me, you
talking
should-
about himself at all.
I don't ever like to talk about
You get
myself.
used to it. You'll get used to it.
Right. So like, what was the favorite interview besides the Loft? What's your favorite interview you've ever been on?
This is a fun one, I will say.
Thank you.
I don't know.
Mm.
It's hard to say. I truly like everything's a blur. Like when I'm telling you, like it was a whirlwind. Like I feel like everything's a mush. I remember like moments like Coachella. I remember late night shows. I don't.
I need to go back and watch your interviews just to see like your big ones that you've done.
Yeah, you'll have to let me know.
I'm like, Liz,
I
like,
did one with Caitlin Bristow from The Bachelorette.
Okay.
That was fun
That's
because
pretty cool.
it's like you drink and like
Right.
I mean I drink
You
obviously.
had one
Let's
glass
be
of
real.
wine. Well, she was getting refills downstairs,
I
so
was.
you know.
And I was like, I am not drinking anymore. This is me always.
What is a fun fact about me? And I'll ask about a fun fact about you
Okay.
and Maddie too, if you want to share. Fun fact about me. kind of hitting back onto you playing instruments in high school. I used to play the bass in high school.
Okay.
For like
That's cool though.
for
You weren't a cool
sem-
kid and you were playing bass.
No, I
We've
was a
been
cool
friends for
kid.
7 years. I've never once heard him sing.
I was a
this.
cool kid. I was the president of my class. I was on the basketball
I've
team.
heard all of this.
I was a cool kid.
Wait,
Here he
but
goes.
okay.
But I needed
gotta
a
go
no.
with
But here,
bass.
sorry, okay. This will all make sense in a minute. Okay, so here's my thing. I needed an elective, and I wanted to get into music. I wanted to get into it somehow. So I started playing the cello, and then they needed a bass person, so I moved into the bass. And
Like
then
stand-up bass?
yeah, and then we had a Christmas
okay.
concert,
That's
and it was
different.
me in the background doing this boom boom boom
That's
boom.
amazing.
There's
That's a
video
dream
of this,
instrument
like,
for
on
me.
YouTube.
What?
Is there like a YouTube?
No,
video
hell
of this?
no. I made sure no. It's nowhere on the internet. But I just like
like, I'm calling
I
this
played the
high
bass in the
school.
back at a Christmas concert, and
That's
only did
amazing.
one concert though. But then like I when I was 21, probably like 5 years ago, actually 4 or 5 years ago, I did my first song with my friend Kid Travis. He has like 3 million on Spotify. He's huge. He just works his ass off. And so did my first song with him, and then just been like kind of putting music out ever since, and then just kind of like dabbling into whatever I feel inspired, because I'm sure for you, like, it's tough to feel inspired to do music all the time.
I don't know. I don't think so.
You
It's just
love
like,
it? Like,
yeah, like it's still my hobby and my passion.
Well, you've been doing it for so long now, so
Yeah.
it's like, well, not that long, but like, you,
Yeah, I'm like
you don't.
50.
He's like trying to age you. Like,
Yeah.
you could just smack
No,
him. It's fine.
no.
So what are you, 50 now?
No, but oh yeah, what is your fun fact?
I can
You're like-
hula hoop for years on end. Like I could literally hula hoop
Same.
forever.
You're a professional hula hooper.
Yeah.
I used to win contests all
Yes,
the time.
me too.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever-
My mom will like make fun of me. She's like, "Do you remember when you used to be psycho and win every single hula hoop
Yeah.
contest?" I'm like, "Yup," and I'll
Did you
win
ever-
one right now too.
you ever do it at
Yeah,
a-
put me up there now.
Yes.
So bring
I just like watch TV. Like,
you should bring a hula hoop to a
Just to
concert one
practice.
time. Just do it.
yeah. I mean, they're big on EDM, so like
Yeah.
I'm killing it already.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. So, what's the biggest festival you've ever done?
Probably Coachella.
Did Coachella?
Yeah.
How was that?
I played it with the Chainsmokers, so that was
Oh,
like
that's amazing.
wild.
That's so sick.
I literally Usher was backstage, and you're like, Mr. Usher would like to see you, and I was like, what? And like I was like, Usher, and like I like walk up to him, he was like, you were amazing. I was like, I was staring
Wow.
at Usher. I was like, what?
That's so
On
cool.
that,
Yeah,
who-
like,
who else
wild.
was like a oh my god moment, like meeting them.
Justin Bieber. I've met him, and I was like, I didn't like,
Love that.
He's a human, you know. Like I want to. I didn't ever want to be like weird around him. Like I just
Yeah.
want to be like, how are you? Like I you know, like
what year
But
did you meet him?
inside, you're like,
Was it the Purpose era? Was it 2015?
it was
2016?
before Haley, so I
That's
don't know what that
2016.
is. Yeah.
His Purpose era. So it was like when he was the biggest. Like he was huge. Like, he's
Yeah,
still
he was
huge, but-
big. He was big. He was doing like the Skrillex stuff.
was he with Selena?
Oh wow. No,
He,
you're so-
I don't know
Love
if he was
that,
with
Justin.
anybody
Pretty
at
sure
the
he was
time.
just single doing his thing. That's why.
That's when he was like friends with the Chainsmokers and stuff like that.
Yeah, he
Like,
was doing
those
like
people
the
were like
EDs,
coming to the shows.
Skrillex Diplo.
Kev
Right.
dressed up as Justin Bieber at one of his temple parties. He,
I have to
wanted
say,
be
like
him.
with the
Sure.
amount of fame that he's had, he is so nice.
Really?
Well, that's what I was saying too. Like,
Yeah.
and
Love that
I
for
feel
him.
like the fame is the reason why he's so nice. If that makes sense. Like he had his moments
Yeah.
where he was.
But he got into it really
Wait,
young.
look. This is.
He was like
Really
15,
Wait, wait,
16
look.
I
when
mean,
Baby
he's
released.
still like human.
Wait,
though.
look.
Like there's people I've met that don't feel human.
That's me on Halloween.
Well, you look like him. So
I
that
know.
works out.
I pulled it off.
You did.
But that was years ago. That's past.
That
year.
haircut was terrible.
I had blonde hair. and everything.
Terrible. He would bleach it.
But we're good now. I'm older, more mature now. But my temple days were wild. Like I'll show you videos.
Temple does that to you.
Yeah, it does. But I guess I'll wrap up real quick. Let's say this. If you had a piece of advice that you've learned throughout your music career that you've implemented into your personal life that someone could take, not just an artist, but that a person could take, what would you say? Is there something that really sticks out to you?
That a person could take. Advocating for yourself, I think, is the number one thing. Like, if you don't believe in you, nobody's going to believe in you. Like, why would you expect anybody else to believe in you? For music career and probably for everything, I would say learn how to do everything you want to do yourself. To never rely on other people, because the less that you have to rely on other people, the more things are in your hand and in your control, and you can, I think, be the most successful.
It's fair
I
enough.
love that. I literally basically texted you that same thing
Yeah.
earlier.
She sounds like a
enough.
great friend.
Thank you.
She's actually one of my best. She's probably my best friend.
I'm like, thanks.
I actually texted her today. I told her, I was like, she's like, show me what like a real friend looks like. Cause like I
Aw.
used to have people like coming in and out of my life a lot, using me for like whether it's my house or like like going to like gigs or whatever like that. And then, but it's like, then she was just always there. We run a nonprofit together with Megan Cohen. She's our founder. And we
hell
work.
yeah.
She's the like basically treasurer. What else? Treasurer. She does social media and she does like the outreach coordinator. I'm the volunteer coordinator and on the board. She's on the board too.
And we're
What's
both
the
on our event planning
What's the
committee.
nonprofit?
The Grace Project. So Meg started it back in 2020, kind of. So she's in sobriety now. And it started off with going out to Kensington and giving back to the community. And then she wanted to help more than just, people in addiction. And that's one of the biggest things that Meg always like advocates for. Like the Grace Project is not just about addiction,
just providing
right?
hope.
It's providing hope to everyone. So like there's 3 different programs. We actually are having like Hope for the Holidays. So we're sponsoring different families in need for Christmas. So it's cool.
Yeah.
We love it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We just had an event, last week?
Yeah, last Friday.
So
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
it's been fun.
Yeah, I remember I started doing it like it was just me, Meg, and like her mom and her sister out of a car, and then like I got Maddie involved, and she just really took off with it. And then now we're just growing at a huge rate, and like
Meg puts in like so much behind the scenes work. It's crazy. Meg's always doing something to
That's
like.
great.
Yeah. But seriously though, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Brendan, thank you for hanging out, dude. I owe you a shot downstairs. But seriously, thank you so much for coming on. It was such an honor to have you. You were so nice, so kind, and
Oh, thank you.
I made sure I was persistent because I really wanted you on the pod. I know you're very busy.
I was like, I respect the hustle. Like anybody who hustles, like I'm in.
Did
Yeah,
he DM you a bunch of times?
No,
Is that
not-
like
no,
what
no,
happened?
it wasn't
not
weird.
really.
Nothing
no,
weird.
It wasn't weird.
I didn't mean it.
It would be like- no,
No,
it
it
You said
wasn't
I
weird,
was-
but like I will say, like there, like one of my main photographers, like I went to high school with him, and I could be a flaky person. Let's be
Yeah.
real. And so like as most artists are, and he was just like, look, last DM, like just let me shoot this one show, and like now he's been like my person.
Well, it was just like, it was more so like, hey, like, do you want to come on? And then she said, yeah. And then I'm like, and then I'll be, okay, great. And then she'd be out.
I think I immediately said yes.
Yeah, you're pretty quick about it. And then I checked things like, hey, just checking in. Are you free? She's like, yeah, I'm actually free Wednesday. I'm like, bet I'm going to call every restaurant contact and I'm going to set this up
Yeah.
for you Wednesday, 8 p.m. And she's like, great, perfect. And then
I'll be there.
here we are.
Yes.
If you guys take notes, you know what I mean? Just hustle, right? But seriously, thank you so much for coming on. Brendan, thank you for hanging out. Daniel's Bar and Restaurant, thank you guys so much for having us. It's a beautiful place. 5-star vodka clubs.
Great wine.
But yeah, right. So what kind of wine did you get?
The Sauvignon Blanc.
Sauvignon Blanc. That's great wine. So thank you. So this is the Loft. I'm Kevin Nichols. So Elizabeth Mencel, right?
Mencel.
Mencel AKA Rozes. Maddie Thompson. Peace, guys.
Bye guys.